friends, welcome back to Bucket List Homestead, and today we are in the kitchen doing a little bit of baking, and one is a new recipe from the new pumpkin cookbook I picked up on our trip to the States last week. I'm going to call the second one a new one, even though I've made sandwich bread before, but I'm experimenting with fermenting the dough just so it's easier to digest and a little bit healthier. So for Christmas, I've asked for an actual grinder for wheat berries that goes onto your KitchenAid mixer. I really want to start making more of our own bread and bread products that are healthier for us. It has more nutrition, and in order to get that, I would need to do the wheat berries. I'm going to try that for the next several months if I get it for Christmas, which I'm sure I will. I told my husband it's all I want for Christmas. It's certainly a much more reasonable price than the Nutri-Mill grain grinder. If eventually, if I get good at this and I enjoy it, I would like to maybe level up, but I'm going to start small. Anyway, until then, I need to find a way to make our bread healthier, because Dave and I have tried giving up bread. We have, but we love bread. I love bread. I'm an Irish girl. I love my carbs. I love bread, fresh bread especially. And with all the recalls that have been happening here in Canada with a lot of products lately, it was just the bread that was recalled. And granted, we do buy the better breads, but they have gotten so expensive. And I know I can make them healthier if I'm making them at home. So my goal is to start making more of our bread. So as I said, I decided to practice doing some fermenting of the dough. A little bit of research told me that that would be healthier. Sourdough obviously is a better way to go, but I'm going to be honest with you, we're not fans of it. We aren't. I'm not giving up. I'm going to experiment with that too over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be experimenting that. So make sure you stick around for that. If you like sourdough or you're not sure about sourdough, this will be the perfect time for you to see what you think. I wish I liked it more, but I think maybe I can perfect it to where we will like it. But until then, I need something else. So we're going to try this, and it's sandwich bread. Now I'll link the recipe down below, but this actually started about 15 hours ago. A 1/4 cup of milk that's been warmed to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. 1 cup of water that is warmed to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, and 2 tablespoons, I used organic cane sugar. We're going to whisk those together and let them sit for 5 minutes till it's frothy and bubbly. Then to start, I added just 1 cup of the flour, 4 tablespoons of unsalted room temperature butter, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. And I mixed them with my dough hook on my KitchenAid mixer for about 30 seconds till it incorporated. Then I added 2 1/3 cups of flour, which is the rest of the flour. Put my mixer on low speed to make sure the flour doesn't go everywhere. And then I mixed that for about 2 minutes, or until the dough came away from the sides of the bowl. And I am using organic all-purpose flour here. You could use that or a mix of bread flour also in this recipe. Then I took some unsalted butter and greased a glass bowl to put my dough in to have its first rise. The first rise I did do out of the refrigerator. I let it rise for about 2 hours in a warm place. Then once it had risen for about 2 hours or until it doubled, I put some plastic wrap over it and put it in the refrigerator to ferment.
My wish is that you don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you hit the bell so that you don't miss any new videos. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button.
So now we have taken it out of the refrigerator and let it warmed up because it was pretty cold. And I have it here on my table here with some flour, and we are gonna roll this out roughly to about 15 by 8 is what we're looking for. And I have a greased 9 by 5 loaf pan. I love this loaf pan for sandwich bread. It is perfect. It's Jamie Oliver. It's a 1 pound. If I can find it, I will link it down below for you all. It's one of my favorites. And I have greased that with butter. And we're just gonna roll this out. Okay, I just measured it and it was a little bit wider than 8. So I'm just gonna fix it. And then we're just gonna roll this up into a roll. Tuck that under. Put it into our pan. And we're gonna cover and let this rise for another hour or until double and it's up over the edges here a bit. I have to say it's a beautiful dough. I'm loving the feel of it. Okay, so we're gonna cover that. I had my clean towel here a second ago. Oh, here it is. And I'm gonna put this on top of my oven where it's warm. So I'm making these Christmas cookies today because next Friday is my Women in Homesteading Christmas party that we are having, and I want to bring a tree, and I thought these just sounded so good, but first we got to make them and make sure they taste good. So if they taste good, I'll be making some more next week. But it also is a great way for me to use more pumpkin because I have so much pumpkin. I cleaned out my freezers before we picked up our quarter pig a couple weeks ago, and the amount of pumpkin we still had in there, I am so glad I didn't break any down this year and freeze it because we have so much in our freezer. So it's another good way to use pumpkin. And it's got very few ingredients and they sound amazing. So for this recipe, and these are called Harvest Pumpkin Cookies. In this bowl, I have just 2 cups of flour, and to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of allspice. We're gonna give that a quick stir. Spices smell so good. Okay, set that aside for now. In this bowl, we're going to cream together 1 cup. I have organic cane sugar, 1 cup, and I have a cup of butter. I'm pretty sure it's a cup. Let me just double check. Yes, 1 cup, 2 sticks, softened. And we're just going to cream these together. Next, we're going to add the 1 egg, 1 cup of pumpkin, and I am using the Baby Doll porcelain pumpkin. And I'm going to add a splash of vanilla or 1 teaspoon. Okay. We're going to add the flour slowly, the flour and the spices. Not the greatest bowl to be using with my hand mixer. I'm realizing that now, but we will make it work. It smells amazing. We're gonna add 1 cup of chopped, I say chopped, because I just put them in a Ziploc bag and crunched them up with my hands. That's easier than chopping them. Okay, and that's good. Oh, that smells so good. I got my cookie sheet here, lined with some parchment. We're gonna drop them. I'm using my medium-sized cookie scoop, and they need to be about 2 inches apart, so they're obviously gonna spread. And we're gonna top each one with a piece of pecan. It says to flatten slightly with the back of a spoon. I'm just gonna push the pecan harder, and that should do that. So, and then my oven is preheated to 375, and we are going to bake these for 10 to 12 minutes. just came out of the oven. 12 minutes in my oven. I tried 10, it wasn't quite enough. 12 is perfect. They actually didn't spread as much as I thought they would have, but oh, the smell, I wish we had smell-o-vision. So we're gonna let these cool for 1 minute and then we're gonna put them on the tray. I've got the second batch going and I still have more here to make. So we're gonna let these cool completely and then we will try one and see what we think. But I think it's safe to say these are gonna be delicious. Okay, these are cooled. And I have to say, these are not as delicate as I thought they were gonna be, which I like. They're a nice substantial cookie. They didn't fall apart when I moved them to the cooling rack, but they smell amazing. So here goes. Very good. Wow. Wow. Very flavorful. I'll just show you the inside here. It's a nice fluffy cookie. Oh my goodness, another bite. The boys are gonna like those when they come home. All right, we have about another half hour for the bread to keep rising. And hopefully by the time all the cookies are done, that will be ready to go into the oven. So the bread dough has been rising for about an hour and a half. I gave it an extra half hour hoping it would come up over the rim. I don't think it's going to. I don't want to keep proofing it. So I've got my oven heated to 350. We're gonna slide this into the oven for 25 minutes. It's gonna take anywhere from 25 to 35-ish minutes. I also have my rack the lowest it can go on my oven. The very bottom, you want it as close to the bottom as you can get so your top doesn't burn. If I do notice the brown, the top getting too brown, rather, I will cover it with some aluminum foil to keep it from browning, but I decided we're gonna have tacos tonight for supper, mainly because I finally wanna try the taco beef I canned back in the summer. We have not tried this. I have not pressure canned hamburger. That's not true, I did manwich back in March, but I haven't done taco beef, so I'm really anxious to try this. We love tacos. We have about 4 or 5 minutes left on the bread. I just put it back in for another 8. So now it's been in there for a total of 28 minutes. So we will check on it in just a minute. Okay. Smells amazing. And I did spray the pan just a little bit to make sure it doesn't stick. Okay, we are gonna get that heated up. While the ground beef, the taco beef is heating up, I am going to get my little pan heating up and I am going to fry up some bell peppers that I grew and froze this summer, and I've just let them drain to get the rest of any water out of them, and we're just going to get those sauteing too. And once my bread comes out, I'm gonna put my taco shells into the oven for just a few minutes. These are the organic ones I got for 88 cents a box at our outlet store. I got quite a few because we love tacos in this house. The bread just came out of the oven. That was 28 minutes. I also did a temperature test. I stuck my thermometer down in the side here and it's at the perfect temperature for doneness for bread. So we're gonna let this cool for quite a bit before we try it. It smells amazing. Lettuce. David just realized he forgot to grab it on the way home, but that's okay. We will survive without lettuce on our taco, but I'm gonna try it. So this is home canned taco beef. Tastes just like I thawed out some frozen beef, seasoned it and cooked it up tonight. I will be doing more of that because that makes taco night so much easier. Wow. Okay. All right, we're gonna have supper and then hopefully the bread will have cooled down enough and we'll come back and we will taste test that and wrap up today's video. Way, I think, to try homemade bread is with a little bit of butter. So it smells really good. It feels nice, like it feels like a nice loaf of bread. It's good. I'm gonna say there is a little bit of a flavor, I think, from fermenting it. Not too much, like I don't know. You know, you don't want too much. At least to me, because then I'd be having sourdough. I don't want, It feels lighter, if that makes sense. Like even the loaf doesn't feel as dense as a typical loaf. So I'm gonna keep experimenting with the fermenting of the dough, and it really does not take that long. I don't know why I put off making sandwich bread so often because it does not take me a lot. Like last night, I had it all done. Within 15 minutes, I let it rise for the 2 hours before I put it in the refrigerator. And yeah, I was done and came down this morning and it had kept rising a bit in the refrigerator. But yeah, it does not take long. So I don't know why I keep putting it off. Okay, friends, that is it for this video. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. We got quite a bit of baking and cooking done. The tacos were a hit. Definitely recommend canning taco beef. That is going to be a staple, I think, going forward, and it gets a lot of ground beef out of my freezer. The bread was delicious, the cookies. I'm gonna definitely end this on a great note because all 3 things we did today turned out wonderful. Until then, take care, God bless, and we'll see y'all soon.